All right, lifting fans, we've got a wonderful treat today on this Memorial Day Monday. So, first of all, thanks to all the people who have served the United States in the armed forces. I appreciate all of you for securing our freedom. Zach clearly agrees because he's got the American flag in the background.
Yep.
Yeah, so this is Zachary Staniewicz, one of our pro arm lifters and owner and innovator, I might say, of Staniewicz Strength Equipment.
Yep.
Zach, welcome.
Yeah. Yeah. No, thanks for having me, Riccardo. And yeah, no, yeah, happy Memorial Day. Just to reiterate what Riccardo said. And, we couldn't do a lot of this stuff if it wasn't for them. And, I got some buddies that are serving right now overseas. Anyway, just a shout out to them. Thank you for your service and everything y'all are doing and keeping the border safe. So,
Oh yeah, absolutely. We can only have this conversation right now in English because of our armed forces. So,
yep.
much appreciation goes to those people.
Yep.
All right, but that's not what we're here to discuss,
Yeah.
even though it's very important.
Yep.
What we are here to discuss is your Staniewicz Strength Equipment, the SSE Anvil. That is going to be the second event at the World Armlifting Championships this year on September 25th and 26th in Las Vegas.
Yep.
And we're going to be setting world records because it's for max.
Yep.
So, Zach, I want you to talk about two things. One, I want you to talk about the excitement about what it's going to be like, and maybe we can possibly even make some predictions.
Yep.
And I want you to maybe give us some technique tips and talk about the origin of the anvil and how you came up with it. Please and thank you.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so obviously, we're all standing on shoulders of giants, they say. I didn't come up with the whole anvil lift, so the history started like George Jowett is one of the big names that's associated with it. He had a 172-pound anvil that he was supposedly clean, catch to the face, and press. That's how the story goes. There's no video of it. The actual anvil is in Austin, Texas, at the Stark Center. So if you ever are in Austin, Texas, go check out the Stark Center at the University of Texas. So that's a little bit of the history of it. So for the anvil, I was lucky enough to get this anvil here. It's a 90-pound anvil. And as you get anvils are bigger, the horns get pretty obscure and kind of take, smaller hand folks don't have the same purchase that, say, a guy with like a 9-inch hand. So I had this 90-pound anvil. You can load it, but it's really inconvenient. So I came up with the idea of copying that. So I copied this exact anvil horn to make the SSE Anvil. So the big difference to, say, like a cone and an actual anvil is you have like a straight side and then you got a slope side, right? So it's not I think concentric is the word. So
Symmetrical.
it's a little,
symmetrical.
yeah, symmetrical, that's the right word. So it's not symmetrical. So there's a little more technique, in my opinion, versus, say, like a Little Bighorn, which is a great implement, but there's a more of a learning curve when you're using this. So
Zach, 1 second, just to introduce the lifters, some of them who might not know what Little Bighorn is. Little Bighorn is Iron Mind. You're going to go get one. It's a cone-shaped anvil. So it's an original anvil trainer. It's a cone, so it's equally shaped on both sides. Yeah. Can you hold it by the hook? Like put your fingers in the hook? Yeah, like that. There you go. So you can see the difference on the asymmetric versus the symmetric cone-shaped one. So I agree with Zach 100%. It's way harder, your anvil. And I'm actually surprised to learn, because it's still a pretty big horn, that's only off of a 90-pound anvil. I know when we were at Summer Strong 1 year ago, we lifted some bigger ones, and those were very difficult to lift because the width of the handle of the horn was so big. They were gigantic. Anyway, continue with your discussion.
Yeah,
please.
discussion. So that's where the design came up. And so for in Las Vegas, y'all are doing the eye bolt version, and I believe you're going to have a swivel.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yep.
So you get eye bolt swivel. I came up and I just want to make sure I came up with it's a swivel D ring, so it's the same idea, but it's as you can see, you got more range of motion because when you add the swivel and then the eye bolt, it gets length. Anyway, so this is the swivel D version, same idea. And the idea with a swivel is that way you can't torque it up. That's the idea. So it's a little stricter and tougher. But yeah, so this is the swivel version. And I'll just go over some tips. I'm not the best guy at it. If you go on my website, there's a top 10 list, and I would just look at the top guys on there. If you're looking for like the primo advice, I'm sure they'll give it to you. But for me, my big cues, and everyone's different, right? Just any heavy deadlift, you want the bar over the center of your body. You don't want to lift with it out in front of you. So center the plates, right? And then in terms of where you're gripping it, traditionally, when you grab an old school anvil, you're grabbing it in this direction like this. Because I've seen guys will grab it in the opposite direction. I personally don't do that. I don't know if you're going to lift more weight. I don't lift more weight, but traditionally, they're grabbing it with a slope side here and their hand here as a right-hander. And that's how you traditionally grab it. So you want to center, grab it with a slope here with your fingers on it. And then for me, instead of grabbing it straight across like this, I have a little slope on it. And the reason I do that is I feel there's more contact. There's more skin contact versus, because look at that, that's about 6 inches of contact versus 4 inches of contact. And it's eventually going to go there. So I just start with my hand sloped like this. Center the bar. I tighten my back, squeeze like heck, and stand up. I mean, that's as simple as I make it. I'm sure you can get further down the weeds, but that's what I tell people.
Well, that's absolutely great advice, Zach, because that's, I think, what most people do at some level. The one thing that I've found that's allowed me to improve a lot lately, and in fact, submit a leaderboard lift to you yesterday, is the thumb pressure. So when it starts, when you have that, and I can't do it because I'm sitting down, but that diagonal, yes, not like that, but yes, that diagonal, you get the friction from the skin, but the thumb has got it's like in a race between the other 4 fingers, and the thumb has really got to push into that anvil to get the takeoff power. And I think most people are going to not be able to break it off the ground when it gets heavy. Do you see many people drop it at the top, Zach?
No.
Right.
But it also hasn't been around a whole lot, while. I mean, usually it just doesn't come off, but that doesn't mean it doesn't happen.
Right. Oh, of course. I dropped the one yesterday on my video because I wasn't squeezing hard enough. But for most people I've seen, and you have quite an elite training group when you get the boys together over there, I imagine most people it's stapled to the floor when it gets heavy, whatever that heavy is for different people.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. So I think it's a great lift. I'm a little biased, but yeah, it's a little more authentic, historical. And the other thing I've noticed that's kind of cool is I feel like this anvil with this setup, the eye bolt version, is close, not exact, close to an actual anvil. So I've pulled I think 180 on this, and my biggest anvil I've pulled is 170, like an actual anvil is 172. You know what I mean? So you can lift slightly more on this than an actual anvil versus like a little bighorn. You got guys pulling, 240. You know what I mean? And they're not pulling 240-pound anvils. So it's not exact 1-to-1, but it's pretty close to an actual anvil. Weight.
Yeah, no, that's a great analogy, and thank you for that. One reason I wanted to clarify, if you could grab that spinning carabiner,
Yeah.
that the other one.
Yep.
Yeah, if you could grab that one. The reason we use that is because you can use that for the grandfather clock. You can use it for
Yep.
the hub or any other, even a country crush, a Raptor. So
Yep.
it makes the lift more safe and less injury prone due to that spinning torque you showed earlier,
Yep.
and um, that's a very safe tool in the toolbox, especially for masters lifters or beginning teens. You know, our teen divisions are really exploding right now, Zach.
Yep.
And I don't want to see any injuries if they can be avoided. And if that makes the lift 5 or 10 pounds harder, oh well.
Yeah. Yeah. And kind of, bounce back on what Riccardo's talking about is guys they'll get let's see, that's supine. They'll go supine, and it just puts a lot of pressure on your bicep, and they'll go to lift it, and they'll pop their bicep. So what I recommend is your hands in this position, or you slightly over, and that's going to protect your bicep because you tear a bicep, you're out at least 6 months. So I do not recommend grabbing it like this. Grab it slightly overhand. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree totally. Well, Zach,
Yep.
let's talk numbers right now. What numbers do you see? And again, now knowing that some of our best lifters are going to be really pushing the envelope over the next 4 or 5 months here, 4 months. What numbers do you see being the destination? What do you see as being truly elite at the World Championships?
So right now, my small little top 10, I think 195, Dylan Abear's got, and that was like red line for him. I've seen some other guys pull like 205, like unofficial. They didn't weigh it. You know what I mean? But I mean, 190 plus to me is pretty damn strong. So I would suspect to see at the Olympia, I'm sure there'll be some guys pulling 210, but I say 190 plus is elite, and then anywhere from 160 to 190 is very advanced, and then anything above 120 is, I don't know what the term would be. Yes, I don't know, very good. So that's
Yeah,
how.
120 is not going to pick up itself. You've got to have a serious grip
Yeah,
to pick up
yeah.
120.
Oh
Um,
yeah,
yeah, I mean, if we took this into a gym and loaded it with 100 pounds, it wouldn't leave the floor unless
oh yeah,
you had big, strong people touching it for sure. Um, yeah, that's on the male side. I would actually downgrade that to 180. I think 180 and above in a strict manner.
yeah,
I don't know if I would have given Dylan's in a contest if I was the judge.
yeah,
Especially for a world record, you got to hold that thing like you mean it.
yeah.
We're not giving away
But
any world records in Las Vegas for sure. So I would say 180 and above is truly elite. And I think maybe some of the biggest boys will approach 220, somewhere between 200 and 220. But whether they can do it after the 2 3/8 inch axle for max, that's a different equation altogether as well. So I think anyone that's pulling, the 140 to 170 has certainly done their homework. And again, 170, 180 plus is super, super good. On the women's side, I haven't seen many lifts, Zach, but I would estimate, downgrading it, 80 pounds plus is going to be very good for the lighter weight women. And if any woman pulls over 100 on that, they've world class.
yeah, yeah. No, I agree. I agree. Yeah. So yeah, it's just honestly, I feel like yeah, technique wise, it's if you've been lifting on a little bighorn or GFC, it's gonna help, for your training. But you probably lose in at least 10 pounds, 10 to 20 pounds, just in terms of having specific training. You know what I mean? That's the salesman in me. But I think that's true because I've watched guys that come train with me, and the first they'll put like 20, 30 pounds just after 2 or 3 training sessions on the actual anvil is what I'm saying.
Yeah. And for our viewers at home, Zach, and I am going to be salesman-y, how does someone buy this? If they're like, I want to try that thing tomorrow, how do I
Yeah.
buy this?
Yeah, so you can just reach out to me. I have my email address on my website, Staniewicz Strength Equipment, right? .com. So my email is zstan3 at AOL.com. And so the anvil is 110, and then the eye bolt, which y'all will be using, this is $5. And then if you want to get real snazzy, you can get the swivel D-ring, which is another 15, and then shipping's around $10 throughout the US, 10, 12 bucks. So you're looking at 115, 125 ship pretty much.
Cool. Well, I'll put the link in the description of this YouTube video so the viewers at home will have an easy access and be able to buy the implement. Zach, I thank you for your time and innovation. It's a super fun implement because, as you know, you throw an extra 2 pounds on there, and then all of a sudden you're like, "What happened?"
Yep.
So
Yep.
it's quite a challenge. Every PR is earned for sure. And I actually really have enjoyed the challenge of trying to raise my game on this implement.
Yeah. And then, like, for me, Store Next isn't far from here. They got the whole slew of anvils. Before I go down there, I'm definitely going to be training with the actual anvil because it's very specific. It's not exact, but it's as close as a loadable anvil, in my opinion, for an actual anvil. I think it has good carryover.
Oh, yeah, for sure. All right, Zach. Well, thank you for your time. And
Yep.
like I said, innovation and willingness to give back to the sport and push the boundaries and make it better. You're much appreciated. So thank you very much.
Yep.